Is it 6:30?
6:30.
Is it on?
Yes, this is on.
Good evening, everyone, and thank you for joining us for the Committee of the Whole Village of Glenwood meeting today, May the 5th, 2026. And we're going to call the CAL meeting to order at 6:30 p.m. If you could stand with me for the Pledge of Allegiance.
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Clerk Durden, call the roll.
Trustee Hadnot. Here. Trustee Roll. Trustee Taylor.
Present.
Trustee Williams.
Present.
Trustee Brown.
Here.
Trustee Mosley.
Here.
We have a quorum, thank you. This evening CAL meeting is for the purpose of the budget review for discussion and input for the board's final approval on the 16th. The overview of the proposed fiscal year 2020 being presented for discussion this evening. This budget reflects a balanced and measured approach grounded in fiscal responsibility, operational sustainability, and the priorities of the Finance Committee, the board, and the community. As we review the proposed budget, the focus will be on maintaining core services, aligning expenditures with realistic revenue projections, and continuing strengthening our financial process. This discussion will also provide an opportunity for feedback, questions, and direct as we work towards the final adoption. Jansen.
Thank you, Mayor, Board, and residents.
Jansen, just 1 minute. I'm going to take a minute and open it up for public comment. 3 minutes, but only related to the budget. If you have any questions before the presentation. Okay, no public comments. Jansen, thank you.
Thank you again, Mayor, Board, and residents. Overall, everybody should have in their seats a bracket or a piece of paper that shows the bar graphs that has the summary of the entire budget. We're going through this today, and then the anticipation is to bring it to the board for final approval in next meeting on May 19th. Overall, as the mayor indicated, this is starting with the department head review and requests. It went to the Finance Committee for review and recommendations. The mayor and I sat down and talked through all the budget lines, and this is where we stand right now. So overall, our corporate revenue is conservatively expected to be $13.3 million, which is roughly $967,000 over 2026's budget. This is largely in part to the home rule change, the grocery tax being added, and higher ambulance fees. From the corporate expense perspective, we're going to be at $13,264,000 or $914,000 over the 2026 budget. This is currently leaving a $53,000 surplus in the total corporate component. The expenses do include a 3.5% cost of living increase for all employees that are not under a contractual contract increase. And it also includes a 10% increase in healthcare expenses. And then probably the biggest line item that was put into here was $240,000 for replacing a plow truck that was 23 years old and pretty much gave up last season. Moving to the motor fuel funds, we are showing a balanced budget. This one is lower than 2026, primarily due to not having funds coming from the CDG to escalate more projects being done in the community. Our bond fund is balanced and is matching the levy that is out for the bonds in addition to the interfund allocations to that bond in order to be paid off. The final year of payment for that bond is FY29. Sewer and water currently sits at a $22,000 surplus with revenues conservatively projected to be at 3.6 million or $67,000 more than 2026 budget. The expenses here are up $46,000, primarily due to wage increases and healthcare costs. Glenwood revenue is budgeted at almost $2.2 million. It's 2.165. This is $80,000 over the 2026 budget. Expenses are also budgeted at the 2.165 also, which is $218,000 higher. All of the expenses are coming primarily from the cost of living increase, the healthcare costs, and then there's $165,000 in capital expenses that are needed for bridge work, and then also changing around the gazebo area for the wedding area. That accounts for all of basically the bigger costs of the expenses for the golf course. With that being said, that's just the overall view of the budget. If you're looking at those bar charts, the darker one is reflecting the 2026 value, and the more orange column is reflecting the 2027 values for the corporate funds.
Is that it?
That's it.
Okay. We're opening it up for any questions or comments from both the board, public, opportunity to have discussion regarding the
I do have a
proposed
question.
budget.
I do have a question.
Board?
Mr. Jansen, just out of curiosity, so I kind of got this today. For fiscal year 27, for administration expenses, how do we anticipate that those expenses would decrease?
So the large part of that is we're moving around the e-com fees and putting those half in police and half in fire. So if you look at the components or the departments, there's roughly 70,000 coming out of the admin line and then being split into fire and police. And that's at the new Southcom values, not just e-com now going forward.
Thank you.
Sure.
Any board questions?
I have a question. Have we budgeted Public Works cutting the grass? Is that in here anywhere?
The cutting of the grass will be done based on their wages. If we are fully staffed, which this reflects a fully staffed budget, they're apparently going to be able to get it taken care of.
There was no additional, if the question is, were there additional funds for grass cutting? No. We averaged last year grass lawn service between Public Works and the bandit properties, roughly about $112,000. So that is the amount that's in there.
Yeah, that was
You
my-
would
that-
see
that was
it
my
on the
question.
line items in each one of the respective departments underlying from fiscal year 26 and current.
Okay,
Exactly.
good evening, everybody.
Should-
For me, the budget is more about having a macro plan. So what I'd like this body to do is have a macro plan which sets the policy and intent. The budget is a micro plan. But without a macro plan, a macro plan is sometimes kind of pointless. So, and I'd also like the reporting, either monthly or quarterly, as to where we are. For example, when the fire department was reorganized back in 2021, we were told that the GEMT funds would cover the cost of the AMR contract. Of course, it never did, right? And also, that contract was increased, which it was supposed to be $882,511 to $1,055,639, which is $173,000 more than it was supposed to be. But most board members wouldn't have known because they wouldn't have had the paperwork from the 2022 meeting. So without this macro plan and without the reporting, it's very difficult to follow the budget. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other board questions for, well, we can open up to the public and board have questions. During that, we certainly can entertain. So the floor is open to any questions from any residents, board. I don't need your address, Mr. Slaughter.
Good evening, Mayor, trustees,
Good evening.
Good evening.
citizens. Eric Slaughter, 512 Center Street. Walking in this evening, I had an opportunity to look at anything other than what is listed on this sheet. And I'm quite amazed that it has zero detail. For my concern, as a person that was a finance person over a $600 million organization, I agreed with Trustee Hagnott.
Oh, okay. Oh, I just want to follow you.
There's no detail whatsoever. Now, maybe there's some detail somewhere else, but as a citizen, I would probably want to know what is the increase that may happen to my taxes. Looks like there's going to be an increase in 2027. Other income. It seems to be going down. Are we short on income somewhere? And perhaps where is that coming from? Or are we getting some type of reserve funds that are being tapped into, or perhaps some other funds that retained earnings perhaps for these larger expenditures, like the truck that should have been earmarked for, if you will. I know things that happen, but we should have some type of fund or a reserve for those types of things. When I look down at administration, how are we reducing administration by this large dollar amount? And I understand there's, as you stated, something going on with police and fire being merged into whatever they were going to do with finance, but there's no detail. So it's very hard to look at that. You know, I'm looking at the senior centers. I believe it needed to have some type of work done to it, and we're allocating the exact same amount. We're not doing something to the senior center. When I look at net sewer and water, and there's looks like a surplus, is there going to be any type of rebate to the citizens for that surplus, perhaps? So these are just some general questions that I had merely glancing at this. Again, there's no real detail that I can see. Maybe it's somewhere else, but those would be questions that I think any citizen would want to know. Leave that open.
Jansen, can you try to provide a little detail from regarding the four major accounts, your administration, the rationale behind the analyst between fiscal year 26 and 24, administration, also for seniors and sewer and water?
So on the senior center, we didn't really project for anything increased. I wasn't aware of anything being done there as far as projects at this time. There are still ARPA funds available to potentially go against that. That is not in this budget because those were funds collected years ago. As far as other income showing a reduction? It's because we are getting better at classifying stuff that went into miscellaneous income into their appropriate homes. It's not a ton of money, so it's merely in the budget, but it's going into the right place versus it just all going into a miscellaneous account. I think I captured a majority of that, but
Yes, that where you see your decrease in your administration, that $320,452 is reflected in ecom, which is a communication between fire and police, that over $280-some thousand was parked into administration. It was moved to the appropriate line item so that those funded from the actual departments. So this budget is reflected. It has room for improvement as we improve our financial process and reporting. So that is where you're seeing those variants to do that we are getting better at, as opposed to dumping all of the funds in the general operating account to come in. We're parking it in the right department to charge it to that particular department to ensure that we're living within those department head budgeted line items.
May I ask a question? Oh, I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
So,
You can, you can
Um,
jump in.
And I don't know if this is for this meeting,
Yes.
and maybe go into the next meeting, but we talked about the senior center. And we talked about the ARPA fund. So I know we've made some repairs over there. I guess my question is, what is outstanding? What needs to be repaired, or what?
That in the senior, we did for fiscal year 2027, we budget to have a program coordinator, director, I don't know the title. So we did budget to put that position in there so that we can actually assess what it is in those programs in there. And that we also, as this budget, as I indicated, it has room for improvement. The intent is that we will, because this budget is based on the first 11 months. April the 30th was the end of the fiscal year. So the board does have the end of April, so we're gonna incorporate the entire fiscal year, and then we'll revise and amend the budget in July before the levy, so that it will be reflected of our actual unaudited end numbers.
I appreciate everyone's efforts. I think I'm just asking for clarity.
Yes.
But I know one of the items in the senior center was about the flooring. Like, are we addressing that from the ARPA funds? Obviously not in this budget, or should we add it to this budget?
That, no, it's not addressed in this fiscal year 27 budget. If that's the question, only the position to assess. And then as we move forward and do amendments, that might become a priority.
Thank you.
Did I answer your question?
We can talk about it later. I mean, it's
Okay.
really not a subject here per se, but I know it comes up, and I know the senior center definitely needs some attention, and that was the goal when we were talking about the disbursement of the ARPA fund.
Yes. Sorry.
Most everything was taken care of as far as the equipment was concerned. We had two outstanding things, that was the floor and the roof. And this week we had the people up for the roof, they checked everything. The only thing they found for the inspection that they informed me of was that we needed more fluids. If we had it on, they said they would send it in an invoice. So that, but other than that, they said the roof is in good shape. And then the only outstanding thing that we need to really take care of is the floor. system. We went through that, we fixed all of that last year. We put refrigerator, freezer, stove, all that was replaced last year. So, you know, we're not that far behind.
Thank you for that.
Good evening.
Good evening.
My name is Melinda Plott, 423 West Arquilla. I'm the chair of the Finance Committee. The committee meets the third Thursday of every month. We've been working regularly with Mr. Jansen. The committee consists of Leon Moore, Michelle Mosley, Trustee Michelle Mosley, Rita Comer, and myself. And this is the first full year for your budget. Balanced budget, delivered on time. And of course, we need to look at it regularly. We intend as a finance committee to ask for actuals to be available to us quarterly so we can present it to you on a regular basis. So you're aware of what's in the bank, what does the budget dictate, and where are we going to look at it for forecasting in the future. So we want to make sure that you are aware of what you're voting on and is it within the budget. That's your responsibility, make sure it's in the budget. Jansen's responsibility and the finance committee's responsibility to make sure that we review it and give you a report regularly. That's our intent, to do that and make any comments regularly. But I commend you for ensuring that this is delivered timely. The whole committee is proud of that. And we look forward to working with you regularly. Thank you.
Thank you.
I have a question for the mayor or JR. Does it ever come up in the SSMMA meetings about the LGDF funds?
Yes,
Yes.
you could take it.
And what's
So,
the plan of action?
so currently within the SSMMA, as I'm sure the board is aware, the SSMMA has our own lobbyist that goes to Springfield and lobbies on behalf of all of the communities within SSMMA. Since the beginning of April, we've had a weekly meeting with our lobbyists to go through what bills are being presented in Springfield, which ones pose positive or negative impacts to municipalities, and LGDF is a continued point every week, not only within SSMMA, but within the Metropolitan Mayor's Caucus and other units of other COGs, if you will. The stance of all of these groups is that the state cannot come and take any more LGDF money from the municipalities. It's already been cut by almost 50% in the last, I think, 8 years.
Yes.
And the position is, even though the governor's office and the legislature are trying to position this small cut potentially, that the municipalities are adamantly opposed to any further cuts to LGDF funding.
Well, for example,
So for the time being, it will remain flat until December 30th.
right, because it used to be 10%, now it's 6.2. Oh,
Yeah, since
I
it's
apologize.
0.7. Yeah.
Yeah, so basically, we're getting 1/3 less than we should be getting. So in this case, we'll be getting another probably a half hour.
Yes. And so it should stay to that amount until December 30th, to December 30th at that 6.7.
Okay, thanks.
JR, who is, village administrator, JR, who is our lobbyist?
Taylor and not
sorry.
and to be, it's not the village's lobbyist, it's the South Suburban Mayors and Managers Association lobbyist. It's Taylor Anderson of Anderson Consulting. He's been in and around the State House for decades.
And so that you know, Trustee Brown, the village of Glenwood doesn't have
I know we,
its independent lobby because of costs, but there is conversations amongst or the South Suburban. And Thursday, we are meeting with the lobby to look at what that would look like for us to pull our resources together to have our own lobbyists. Mhm. Any other questions? Comment? Mhm.
so I just want to thank the finance committee for their work they did on this budget and commend the mayor and JR and all the department heads for cooperating with us on a short time frame to get it turned around in time. The budget isn't, I mean, we don't have a whole lot of money, but it is balanced and we're maintaining our services. And I think it's a great first step.
Thank you. Any other comments? Thank you. I will ask to adjourn. A motion to adjourn. Okay, clerk, call the roll.
Trustee Mosley. Adjourn.
We adjourn.
Yes.
Trustee Brown. Trustee Williams. Trustee Taylor.
Yes.
Trustee Roll. Trustee Hadnot.
Yes.
Thank you. That concludes the committee of the whole board meeting, and
I don't know. No, that's playground equipment. You know what the gym thing is, what you said. What is this, JR? Don't be passing out no damn phone book. I'm supposed to read this now?
Good evening, everyone, and welcome and thank you for joining us both in person and via YouTube for our regular Board of Trustee meeting at the Village of Glenwood on Tuesday, May 5th, 2020. We will officially call this meeting to order at 7 p.m. If you could stand with me for the Pledge of Allegiance. Clerk Durden, call the roll, please.
Trustee Hadnot,
Here.
Trustee Roll,
Here.
Trustee Taylor,
Present.
Trustee Williams,
Present.
Trustee Brown,
Present.
Trustee Mosley.
Here.
Thank you. We have a quorum. Request for a motion to approve the regular board meeting minutes of April 21, 2026 as presented.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Clerk, call the roll.
Trustee Hadnot,
Yes.
Trustee Williams,
Aye.
Trustee Roll,
Yes.
Trustee Mosley,
Yes.
Trustee Brown,
Yes.
Trustee Taylor.
Yes.
Any questions? We're now open for public comments for 3 minutes, limited to agenda items only. And the clerk will time you. With no public comments related to agenda items only, we'll move to bills payable. Jansen.
Thank you, Mayor. Bills payable for May 1st, 2026. Corporate fund, $142,547.46. Motor fuel tax, $5,518.74. Water account, $27,261.55. State forfeiture, $1,799 and even. TIF Industrial Park, $1,695.14. TIF Main Street, $810.25. Glenwood Golf Course, $63,962.48. Halsted North, $804. Halsted South, $1,999.75, for a total of all funds, $253,398.37.
Thank you. Requesting a motion to approve May 1st, 2026 bill payable in the amount of $250,398.37.
So
I'll
moved.
move that motion. Second.
Clerk, call the roll.
Trustee Mosley,
Yes.
Trustee Taylor. Yes. Trustee Brown,
Yes.
Trustee Hadnot,
Yes.
Trustee Roll, Trustee Williams.
Thank you. Any questions?
I have two questions.
Mhm.
Considering that we tabled the conversation about the lawn care, just looking at one of the invoices, it's a little bit over 30,000. About $30,000 for mowers for Public Works. Now, did we replace mowers so they can continue to do what they're doing? Did we buy new mowers? I remember asking how much equipment that they had, because I really didn't remember them cutting the grass, because I just wasn't thinking about it years ago. So now that I know that they used to cut the grass, again, are these new mowers in addition to the mowers that they have?
These are new mowers were purchased within the spending authority, consistent with our current policies. So yes, mowers they had I don't know what you call it, maybe a push mower, is that what you call it? They had a motor, but we purchased a mower to ensure that we maintain our lawn care service until such time The board gave directions that what was on the agenda that was tabled was accepting the lowest bid. That is what was on the table. Two board members responded regarding directions of moving forward.
Okay, so,
So, and it was noted that we will provide lawn service in-house until further notice.
okay, so if we, and that's why we bought the mowers. If we had already, if we had bid, if it wasn't tabled, are you saying we wouldn't have spent the 30,000 to buy the mowers?
That
No?
there's other expenses in that 31,268.91. But no, we needed to replace,
Anyway.
replace our mowers anyway.
Okay, last question. Do we typically, and I don't know, I'm just asking,
Mhm.
do we typically spend $30,000 on fertilizer for Glenwood? Is that a whole season? Is it 2 seasons? I mean, is that normal?
It is normal.
That's normal for 1 season.
Yeah, it's a little higher than that. And the hotter the temperature is, the more you have to take care of your lawn services. You're welcome. Jansen, payroll.
Yes, payroll for check dated May 1st, 2026. Administrative, $18,312.45. Public Works, $12,109.65. Police Department, $107,060.67. Fire Department, $24,315.89. Senior Center, $345.99. Elected positions, $1,071.30. Sewer and water, $22,489.34. Glenwood Golf Course, $25,997.42, for a total payroll of $211,704.71. We did have reimbursables of $1,515.58, which brings the grand total down to $210,189.14.
Thank you, Jansen. Any questions? Board, any questions? I ask a motion to approve payroll in the amount of $210,189.14. And I'd like to thank the village administrator for stepping up to complete payroll in the interim. Appreciate it.
So moved.
Mhm.
Second.
Clerk, call the roll.
Trustee Taylor,
Yes.
Trustee Roll, Trustee Williams,
Aye.
Trustee Brown,
Yes.
Trustee Hadnot,
Yes.
Trustee Mosley.
Yes.
Thank you. Motion passed. Under Mayor's report, happy Cinco de Mayo. Let me take a moment to thank all of our public servants as we celebrate Public Service Week. The village is strong because of the dedication and commitment of our elected officials on every level, along with our police, fire, senior, public works staff, and our residents who work tirelessly every day to ensure that our village runs smoothly and remains a safe place where we all are proud to call home. I also want to thank our residents for your input and the feedback this evening as we presented the budget. Your engagement in completing the survey, willingness to share your perspective are truly appreciated as we work to align our financial priorities with the needs of the community. Please accept my apologies for having to postpone the State Village address. I know you are also excited to hear the direction that we're going as we continue to work through our financial landscape and prioritize plans for the coming year. It was imperative that we needed to postpone. It's important that we move forward with clarity and confidence in our numbers, and I thank you for your continued support and patience. As we approach Mother's Day, I want to extend a warm wish to all the mothers. May your days be filled with your heart's richest desires. and some well-deserved rest, as we know that we as mothers have on a super cape, right? But I also want you to know that self-care is important. If you have no plans, please be reminded that Clara will be hosting a Mother's Day brunch this Mother's Day Sunday, 10 a.m. at the Glenwood banquet facility. All Glenwood mothers will receive a discount. Thank you. And with that, we will go to attorney's report.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. For the attorney's report, we have a number of items for the board's consideration. The first being request for approval of ordinance number 2026-009, amending Chapter 22, Buildings and Building Regulations, Article 17, Elevator Safety, the Code of Ordinance for the Village of Glenwood regarding elevator inspections in the village. This ordinance is brought after conversations with building inspections and fire department, as well as the village administrator, really to harmonize the village's code and process, harmonize the village's code with the actual process and how elevator inspections work and what the village should be charging for those inspections. I'll defer to the village administrator if he has any further comments or questions on that as well.
I have nothing further to add unless the fire chief he'd like to add, but as the attorney said, this is really just to kind of bring the process in line with what we're required to do under the state statute as far as charging for elevator inspections by a third-party vendor.
Any questions? Clerk, call the roll.
I do have one question.
I'm sorry.
Do we know how many elevators we have in Glenwood?
I do not, but we can get an answer.
Offhand, no, but the chief says it's a low.
I mean, that was my guess too.
I'll charge the chief with giving us a final number. Any other questions?
Nope.
Clerk, call the roll. Oh, thank you, trustee Brown. I need a motion for approval of ordinance 2026.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Clerk, call the roll.
Trustee Roll. Trustee Mosley.
Yes.
Trustee Taylor.
Yes.
Trustee Hadnot.
Yes.
Trustee Brown.
Yes.
Trustee Williams.
Thank you, motion passed.
Thank you. The next item is requested approval of ordinance 2026-10, annexing certain property owned by the petitioner into the village of Glenwood. For this, I would defer to the village administrator for further details and questions.
Thank you. This is a matter that was emailed to the members of the board maybe 2 or 3 weeks ago as a point of reference or recall. This petitioner has been having conversations with the village about annexing their property into the village. The property address is 20225, 20227, 20229 Cottage Grove, and 20250 Cottage Grove Avenue. This is on Cottage Grove, south of Assumption Cemetery on the east side of Cottage Grove Avenue. It's currently unincorporated property. It actually currently has a Chicago Heights address, physical address. It's unincorporated Cook County. They approached Chicago Heights first about annexation. Chicago Heights told them that there is no contiguous Chicago Heights property so they are not eligible to annex. There is a property contiguous to it on both sides that is incorporated Glenwood property. As a reminder, we were required to notify Bloom Township and Linwood Library District about the possibility of this being discussed this evening. The notice that was sent to the board was sent to all of the members that were attached to that. I have copies of the return receipts from the certified letters. If anybody would like to see those will be submitted with annexation agreement should it be approved this evening to Cook County. I believe Mrs. Florian is here tonight if anybody has any questions for her, but as I stated in the email a couple weeks ago to the board, The intention is, the reason that they would like to annex into the village is mostly to have access to village services versus waiting on Cook County response times. In particular, there was a couple of incidents where they were waiting on a response from Cook County sheriffs where they would have preferred to have had access to the department when theft, I believe, or burglary occurred on the property. So with that, I will let Mrs. Florian speak if you would like to, or if the board has any questions.
Hello, my name is Evelyn Florian. I am the owner of the property, and my family is forward to be a part of the community. I have a daughter, 1.5-year daughter, and I would like her to study this year. So that's why I want to ask this. I'm looking forward to it.
Yes, I have a fast question for you. Are you aware that you can't have a gravel driveway or parking area? You're gonna have a paved those areas? Were you aware of that? You're gonna have to pave the gravel area. So I'm familiar with that house. That was a foreclosure a few years ago, and that's right next to the old power plant site. So I'm very familiar with that location. But you can't have gravel, so you're gonna have to pave your driveway, you're gonna have to pave your parking area. Were you aware of that? You can't have a gravel lot in incorporated Glenwood. You can't have a gravel driveway, so you're gonna have to pave the driveway in your parking area. Do you understand?
Yes.
Okay, okay, all right. Just wanna make sure you're clear.
Any other questions? Clerk, call the roll.
Trustee Brown.
I'll wait.
Hold on. Wait.
I need a motion for approval of ordinance 2020. I'm sorry.
So move. Okay.
Did you have a question?
Yeah, so she didn't answer whether or not she's going to pave it.
She said she was aware.
I couldn't hear it.
Oh, she said
yeah.
she was aware. Yes.
Okay.
Yes,
Okay,
she
thank you.
was aware. Did you first the motion, trustee?
Yeah, I
Brown?
make the motion.
I get a second. Okay. Clerk, call the roll.
Trustee Brown.
Yes.
Trustee Taylor.
Yes.
Trustee Williams. Trustee Mosley.
Yes.
Trustee Hadnot.
Yes.
Trustee Rowe.
Thank you. Motion passed.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. The next item for consideration is requested approval of ordinance 2026-11, amending Chapter 26 Businesses, Article 5, Merchandising of the Code of Ordinances for the Village of Glenwood regarding tobacco and related products in the village. This is in response to the discussion at the prior board meeting regarding increasing the business license aspects of and regulations for the sale of tobacco at the various smoke shops. The proposed ordinance adds, changes a lot of how, what the village current business license code sections regarding tobacco sales has in it now, which is very sparse. It details what two different types of license, whether it's a tobacco dealer license for incidental sales, for example, you'd think like a gas station, things like that, or versus a tobacco or smoke shop, a specific actual tobacco store, or the smoke shops that have been of concern, and limits these types of licenses, has a separate fee for these types of licenses and how they are approved, specifically for the, we call it Class B tobacco or smoke shop license. It caps the number of actual available licenses at 3, which are the ones currently in the village. Each, and creates the position of tobacco commissioner, which run by the mayor, similar to liquor commissioner, to quickly enable the ability to enforce the ordinances and codes and basically issue cease and desist orders, et cetera. this provides the village a lot more structure and backing, to be able to limit these types of shops, and businesses, and making sure that they're in line with how the village wants them to operate, the ones that are here. I'm happy to answer any other questions as well.
Any questions?
I have one quick question. So it's a different set of rules for a gas station than there is for a natural tobacco shop, correct?
It's a separate type of license.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's two separate licenses. Okay,
Yes.
thank you.
Yeah, the actual store, like a tobacco store, is the limit at 3.
That means that there will be that means no additional tobacco stores can be opened in the village of Glenwood.
Attorney Ross, in here somewhere, it says that we're not going to give a license to someone without it being in good character. How do we decide, or how do we know if that person is of good character? What do we deem that as?
And that's language that's used in many municipal codes and other parts of your code. It gives the village some discretion in terms of, after running a background check, does the applicant, do they have anything in their background that makes them subject to further scrutiny?
So we're going to run background checks
Yeah.
before they do, okay? And my last little statement is, just like many times it says, it's hereby amended by eliminating the current section in its entirety and replaced with the language as followed. So I'm a little confused about what language are you eliminating? I see what we're replacing it with, but on several occasions, it lists the ordinance, it lists all the verbiage, but then it says it's going to eliminate the current section. Like, what is the current section? Usually you used to like put little,
We have that. It's because of the amount of the changes and how drastically the current code, it provide for much of this at all. It just has that you have to get a tobacco sales license, and there's certain type of wholesale retailer license.
so really just pay attention to what we're doing now.
That's why it's in this regard, because we're not doing like little, we're not going and changing each little piece. If you wanted, I could try to show you in strikeouts what the actual section that we're replacing is. It's also available online. I could, however you want me to present it, I'm happy to. But because of how substantial the changes were, it was just, I thought it would read easier if we just put it all in like this, or else the ordinance itself would be a lot longer.
I just want to make sure what we're replacing it with. If I know what it was and what it is, then I could vote more educationally on what it was, what it is, versus just what it is. I don't know what it was. That's all. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It says what it was, but I don't know what it was. I just know what it is. And so in the future, maybe just kind of, it could be like maybe highlighted what it was, so I know what it is.
I understand. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions?
Not all, Your Honor, but it's hard for me to understand what he's saying quite a bit, because when he speaks, he constantly turns his head away from the mic, and I truly don't get a clear understanding. Sitting this close, can't speak for everybody else.
He'll use the mic. Thank you, Murdoch. He'll use it. Thank you. Any other questions?
No.
Clerk, call the roll.
Make a motion.
Should have had dinner.
All I'm gonna do it at Trustee Taylor, because her face reminds me. Okay. Can I get a motion for approval of ordinance 2026-7?
So moved.
A second.
Clerk, call the roll. I'm gonna stay fixated.
Trustee Williams,
Aye.
Trustee Taylor,
Yes.
Trustee Brown,
Yes.
Trustee Roll, Trustee Mosley,
Yes.
Trustee Hadnot.
Yes.
Thank you. Motion passed.
Next, we have the proposed Resolution 2026-005, authorizing and empowering the village president to lead the heart to enter into an assignment of lease and easement agreement with TPA 8 LLC for the payments of $560,000 to be paid to the village at the inception of the easement commencement date. This is regarding the previously approved permanent easement agreement concerning the cell tower leases. This is the other one, but I defer to the village administrator if he has any further explanation.
Yes, this is, as we've been talking about at the last several meetings, there was a holdup on the closing date of the second cell tower lease that we had because we were going back and forth with AT&T to try and get their past due rent paid. I believe I reported to the board at the last meeting that we did receive past due payment from AT&T somewhere in the amount of $260,000 dating back to unpaid rent from 2017 onward. Now that that has been cleared up and we have established that is free and clear, the closing is set to commence on the previously approved easement for the cell phone tower located here in the parking lot behind Village Hall. And so this resolution is similar to the one that was passed on the prior closing. I'm sorry, it's not the cell phone tower here at Village Hall. That one's been closed and approved already. This is the one located behind Glenwood Oaks. And so this would be, it is set to close this Thursday, and once it closes on Thursday, this $560,000 will be wired to the village immediately, similarly to the amount when we closed on the Rebecca Street site.
Thank you. Any questions?
Motion.
I'm requesting a motion for approval of 2026 5.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Clerk, call the roll.
Trustee Taylor,
Yes.
Trustee Brown,
Yes.
Trustee Mosley,
Yes.
Trustee Rowe, Trustee Williams,
Aye.
Trustee Hadnot.
Yes.
Thank you. Motion passed.
And as the final item on the attorney report, request for approval of resolution 2026-06, approving and authorizing ratification, revival, and completion of the prior settlement agreement and property conveyance between the Village of Glenwood and Proviso Petroleum Company. As background, this matter is in regards to a 2018 settlement agreement that the village entered into with Proviso Petroleum, which owns the lot, one of the lots at the Plaza of Glenwood, where the Fifth Third Bank building is. Long story short, there was litigation caused due to some of the village's actions in that area, and a settlement agreement was reached. The terms of that settlement agreement essentially called for the village to pay a portion of the plaintiff Proviso's attorney fees, as well as in exchange for the Proviso entering into a waiver of certain covenants and restrictions that were deeded with that land, that was the cause of the lawsuit, that they would sign that waiver, and then the village would also convey that a small portion of the property that it still owns. It's lot 1, which is currently and was being used as a parking lot for the Fifth Third Bank building, that the village would actually convey that to the owner of the Fifth Third Bank lot. The long story short is none of that happened. The litigation got dismissed, or was dismissed by the plaintiff pursuant to the settlement agreement. Things got started. The village had to improve the lot, the parking lot area, and do certain things with the MWRD. And then things just kind of, I think, fell through for certain other reasons. And there was other discussions of a potential different development coming in, et cetera. So things got delayed. Now, the owner, Proviso Petroleum, which owns the lot and leases to Fifth Third Bank. Fifth Third Bank wants to extend its lease for at least another 10 years. And a key condition of that is to ensure that that parking lot, which it utilizes, is secured and it is with the property. So that has spurred wanting to finalize and really get this matter completed in totality. So that is where this resolution attaches. You see the 2018 settlement agreement. We would have the waiver of covenants, which is for the village's purposes, the very important aspect of this. That we would have gain certain rights in the connecting roadways within the development. And we would proceed with conveying that small portion, that small parcel, which has very little value to the village itself, and is already being used as a parking lot anyways. So I'm happy to answer any other questions. That's tried to make it as simple as possible for kind of a complicated.
And just in adding, right, that in basically, it's an old settlement from 2018 where we neglected to pay $11,875 and to correct and deed over the small portion of the parking lot we are using. In lieu of losing them to that, we are coming to the board asking for your approval to finalize the settlement from back from 2018. In exchange, they'll renew their lease for 10 years. So that is in the package, right? They had a lawsuit. The judgment was against us. We owe the money. We're supposed to do it. It just fell through the cracks, and now we are correcting it.
Just a little background. That land was purchased as an easement for ComEd to facilitate the deal for Anytime Fitness to Ralph Edgar. And $30,000 was paid to a proviso. But I guess there was something more to the deal than everyone knew. But that land ended up being given to Ralph Edgar for $1.
Okay. I mean, it's a little confusing. What I got is that it's our fault, we did something. Or we didn't do something.
Yeah.
And
That's typical.
we owe somebody, we owe somebody $11,000 because something fell through the cracks that affects Fifth Third, ComEd, and some petroleum company. I'm just cutting to the chase.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
So what I don't understand, and you did a good job at explaining but I still don't understand, what did we do that we owe this? Okay, what didn't we do?
When the default judgment was against us, we didn't pay out and we didn't deed over the parking lot.
And we were supposed to.
Yes, back in 2018.
Thank you.
Previous administration,
None of the board was here. No one sitting here today was here back in 2018.
I'm sitting where you were sitting.
Okay, no other questions. Can I have a motion for approval of resolutions 2026-006?
I'll make that motion.
I'll
Second.
Okay.
Clerk, call the roll.
Trustee Williams,
Aye.
Trustee Roll, Trustee Hadnot,
Yes.
Trustee Brown,
Yes.
Trustee Taylor,
Yes.
Trustee Mosley.
Yes.
Thank you. Motion passed. Village Administrator.
Thank you, Mayor. I'm just going to quickly run through the items for approval this evening under my report. The first item will be a presentation from Adam Hoover from NIMEC. This is about the village's electrical aggregation program. NIMEC is our current electrical aggregation provider. Adam will come up here in just a few minutes when I finish going through the rest of this to refresh the board's memory on our current program and present a proposal for renewal. The resolution approving this renewal did not make it to the agenda for this evening, so it will be on the agenda for the May 19th board meeting. But Adam is here this evening to make his presentation in relation to the renewal of this agreement. The second item up for consideration tonight is a proposal from Tesca and Associates for assistance with Glenwood TIF matters. This proposal, it's important to note, will be paid for entirely out of the TIF districts with which the work is going towards. In an effort to get our arms around the various TIF matters and the various things that have been neglected for years as far as reporting and other matters that are supposed to be handled on a yearly basis within the TIFs, the mayor and I talked to several preeminent TIF attorneys in the area. All of them, and including one of our state legislators, referred us to this individual, Pete Iosu, from Tesca and Associates. We spoke with him. He put together this proposal that's before you this evening to help come in, help us clean up some of our compliance issues that are lingering out there with our TIFs, and to help us explore the establishment or the reestablishment of the Main Street TIF, which expired in 2025. So that is what that matter is regarding. The next matter is an approval from this National Wash Authority company to clean the exterior of our 4 water tanks, the 2 elevated tanks, the water towers, and the 2 smaller or shorter concrete tanks. This is the first step in what is going to be a lengthy process to get all 4 of these tanks the repairs and maintenance that are needed. But this first step represents, exterior cleaning of all 4 of those structures. And again, 2 of these 4 structures do sit within TIF districts, and so TIF dollars will be used for those 2. Next is a motion to enter into a 12-month agreement with TNT Maintenance Cleaning for the cleaning of municipal buildings as the lowest responsive proposal received, similar to the process that was followed with the lawn care proposals that were presented a few meetings ago. We did go out and submit proposals for the cleaning of Village Hall, the Blakey Center, the police department, and the 3 field houses. Our current provider, TNT Maintenance, was the lowest bidder by a significant amount. I've included both of those proposals in your packet for review as well. And finally, is a motion to agree or to approve a 3-year agreement with Rogue Production LLC for fireworks. The reason that it's July 3rd of this year and then July 4th of the 2 following years is it was a little late in the calendar this year to secure a July 4th date. We reached out to a number of companies, but this company came back to us, and this company is who the village has used in prior years for fireworks shows. They came back to us and they said, we can get you on July 3rd of this year and guarantee you the next 2 4th of Julys if you sign a 3-year agreement. So that's why it appears this way. I know on the agenda it says $40,000 for this year, and in the proposal that was submitted to the board earlier today, it says $30,000 for each of the years. That's at the board's discretion. I spoke with the gentleman from the fireworks company this evening, and essentially his response to me was, if you spend the higher budget, and his reasoning behind the higher budget for this year was it being the 250th celebration of the country, he thought maybe a little bit higher budget this year would be more appropriate. It doesn't necessarily equal a longer show, although it can. It's just more about how many booms you get for your buck. So you can space it out over a little bit longer time, or you keep the time the same and just get a few more booms in a shorter period of time. So that concludes my report. I will ask Adam Hoover to come up here to give his presentation really quickly, and then go on. Thank you.
Hi, how are you? My name is Adam Hoover. My father and I work at NIMAC, and we have been working with the village for, I think, 14 years now. We do 2 things. The first thing, just to give you background on, no action on that, is we help with the municipal's 2 accounts, 2 power accounts, and we're a broker. We help find a better rate than the ComEd rate. So the ComEd rate's around 10 cents. You guys have a rate around 7.4 cents for your 2 accounts. Saves around $10,000 a year. And we do that just, as a huge co-op with about 140 other municipalities. So instead of you guys going to bid on your own, we go to bid as a whole group. That is not up for vote. You guys are through 2027 with your contract, which is great because power prices are going up and you guys are all fixed and set with that. What I'm here for today is the Municipal Aggregation Program renewal. The Municipal Aggregation Program is a program for residents that provides an alternative electric supplier for residents We've been running it for about the past 6 years with the city. And primarily the goal was to save residents money. We can no longer do that. We used to find rates that were 10 cents. The comment rate is 10 cents. We'd find rates that were 8 cents. We run this program with 45 towns, and 44 of them are running the price match program, which is what you're currently running. So the current program provides the resident the exact same rate as ComEd. As the ComEd rate goes up and down, the residents will match that have the alternative electric supplier, MC squared. I want to be very clear. There are no savings for the resident. There are no extra costs for the residents, guaranteed. We serve about 90,000 residents in Illinois. No one has ever paid more than the ComEd rate. I'll personally pay a resident back if they find that they paid more. So why do we run a program if we cannot find savings for the residents? It provides a civic annual contribution of $15,000 to the village. You are all free to do with that however you choose. We have no strings attached with that. So that program expires in August, and we are here for renewal. So we went out to all of our suppliers, and one supplier offered to renew that. We could not find savings. I want to be very clear. The ComEd rate's 10 cents, and our rates were around 11 cents. We obviously do not want to run a program that costs residents extra money. So we are recommending the renewal of the exact same program with MC squared. So instead of the civic contribution being $15,000, they re-upped it to $20,000. So that would be for $20,000 annually. So if you choose to do a 2-year deal, that would be $40,000 total. I'll stop there before I get to any updates. Is there any questions?
I just want you to slow down just a little bit.
Am I going quick?
Yeah, I mean.
I'm trying to be efficient. I'm trying to be efficient, but I apologize. I will slow down.
Can you do the savings for phone and cable too?
No, we
I'm just
cannot.
teasing.
The Wi-Fi, yeah. Thank you. I appreciate that. I will. The one update that we have and the one change that we have, we don't have to do it. You can still do a 1-year deal or a 2-year deal. That would be fine. But what we've done with a lot of our towns is a 6-year deal with 2-year opt-out options. And what the 6-year deal does is it provides you this. In 2 years from now, I will come back here and present, hey, the offer went to $25,000, $15,000, whatever it may be. If you choose to renew, then that way the mailings will be much more limited than what they currently are. Currently, all residents receive a letter, but if you choose a 6-year deal, then just those residents that are in the program would receive the letter. So our goal is to limit the amount of letters that go out, the amount of confusion that comes to the staff and that comes to residents through that. So we're trying to limit that. I want to be very clear. If you choose a 6-year deal, in 2 years from now, you can get out of the program with no penalties or no fees, or if there's a better option where we can save residents money, we can do that. In essence, we've created a 6-year deal to ease the burden on the staff and myself who'd speak directly to residents.
Gotcha.
I have a question.
Yes.
I was told that I have solar. I'm like a new solar customer.
Congratulations. That's great.
Thank you. Okay. I was told that I have to have ComEd. I mean, that's what they told me. I have to have ComEd in order for me to see a savings, and I can't have another third party.
I would disagree with that, but to that extent, I don't care. Then we should get you on ComEd if you are not. If you're with MC squared, every resident in Glenwood has the ability to opt out or into the program at any point, at any time, without any fee. I would disagree with that statement. I still think you could run our program and be part of it. But if you did not want to, you can get out of the program. You can contact me directly and I can get you out and make sure you're with ComEd as your supplier. So we can do that if that's the case. I would disagree with that assessment from the solar provider, but to each their own. I'm sure there's different opinions. The other thing is if you have solar already, by state law, you would not be included in the program. So if you switch to solar in the middle of it, that's where the confusion came. So let's say we've been running the program for the past 6 years and you switched in the middle, then you might need to call us or call MC squared or, and switch. But if you have solar, then you are not included and you remain with ComEd as your supplier or whoever you have as your supplier.
It needs to be ComEd.
Great.
I literally just got it about a month ago. So I wasn't in your program. So that means that I can't be in your program.
Correct.
Thank you.
Okay, any other questions?
I would just like to add one further thing, Mayor. Adam and I had this conversation about a month ago, and whenever you're talking about municipal aggregation, residents undoubtedly get confused, letters come,
Correct.
people have questions. Adam has assured me that we are allowed to give residents personal cell phone number to answer any questions that they have regarding the program. So we don't have to inundate the board members or staff here at Village Hall. Adam will take care of talking to the residents.
And on
Okay.
top of that, I will stop by a week before letters go out and talk to the staff myself. Most of the questions are, is this a scam? What's the purpose of that? But once you find out you're still billed by ComEd, paying the ComEd rate, most residents don't care. But any resident wants to get out or into the program can call me directly. We can permanently opt you out, so you're never included, but there's no change to the resident. That's kind of the beauty of the program.
So I have a question. So you said that we have to call to opt out. So that means every resident is opted in automatically?
Not necessarily. I'm going to get into the details of this. Each letter is different. They only serve MC. About 30% of the residents will be moved over who are currently over. So, because we're already running the program, I just want to reiterate that. But they serve a smaller percentage of the population. They do not serve every single resident. Any resident with a commercial supplier like a Constellation or Dynegy, so let's say you move to Dynegy on your own or Constellation, you cannot be included. Anyone that's on the ComEd hourly program is not included. Anyone who's on solar cannot be included. And so then of all those ComEd people who are their suppliers, about 30% of them get moved over. Every resident can call or opt out or opt in.
Okay.
Okay, any other questions? Okay. I am requesting a motion to accept resolution number 00. No.
What
Okay,
is that for? The aggregation?
Yes.
Oh. Oh.
he was just giving the presentation.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Put in mind. Thank you, Adam. Yep.
Thank you. Have a good night.
How about, can I have a motion to accept the proposal for Tesker and Associates to assist with the Glenwood TIF?
I'll make that motion.
Any questions?
I have more of a comment. Well, I guess it's a question / comment. What's the risk of all the unreported TIF reporting?
We are working diligently regarding having all fees waived. And so the inherent risk is that we're behind in financial reporting. It affects our credit rating. It affects our ability to get a loan. So we are working diligently to have these things cleaned up. That the Main Street TIF expired December 30 of 2025. As a result, that TIF, for lack of a better word, is dead. So meaning that we have to file some amendments and things because any fundings that was in that had obligations to it, we did not record that. So those are the risks, but we are minimizing those risks.
Okay, thank you.
So the first and second. Any other questions?
So the cost, this proposal is $35,000
Yes.
for a period of 6 months, 4 to 6 months.
Yes, but more than likely, after the 6 months, that what we wanted to do is for initially for the test to understand where we are, what we're able to do, and to do all of our back reporting, to do the reporting to get that up. And then after we have that in line, then the next steps would be, having future plans for those, if it means to amend those TIFs, to add to them or to let them expire.
So that would be additional funds.
Yes.
Okay. Is there any reason that our attorneys could not have done this for us?
Are you talking about the current attorneys?
Yes.
Because I wanted to have independence, and I also wanted to have expertise of actually having someone and doing the TIFs that Pete is actually consultants who would help with doing the legwork, but in that interim, when there are some legal questions, our attorneys will do legal piece. So it's a separate scope of work.
They would be working in conjunction with our,
When there's legal advisements that's required, our legal will advise us regarding any legal. Pete will be doing the fiscal, the scope of work would be a consultant service regarding the preparations of the TIF reports and the layout and working with the other TIF bodies. He's not providing legal counsel. That would be a separate cost.
If I may, I do think it would be cost effective for the village to not have legal counsel doing all of these intricate financial things. You don't want to, I don't want to have to bill you, and you don't want to pay me to do these financial things. I know what they are and what, I know how to read and read what they are, and I know the analysis, et cetera, and what the laws are governing it. But this type of expert knows how to do this a lot more efficiently. And I think it's more efficient for the village to utilize this type of consultant. And well, price seems a little high, may seem high on its face. It's probably much more cost effective than having legal counsel do that on an hourly basis.
thank you.
Mayor, did you say that the Main Street TIF expired
Yes,
in December 2025?
yes.
But here it says it's active.
Say that again.
So it says the village currently has multiple active TIF districts, including Main Street. Is that a typo?
No, it's not closed.
It's
The main-
active in a sense, there's outstanding obligations.
Right.
So there was money committed out of that TIF prior to the expiration for projects that have yet to be completed. So the books aren't closed on it. We just cannot bring in any new money into it.
Can you tell us when the rest of them expire?
Off the top of my head, I cannot give you exact dates on all of them. I can tell you that we have 2 more that are pending expiration at the end of this year. We have,
North Industrial.
I think, yeah, the
Industrial.
industrial and the Halsted Holbrook. We have several others that are many years away from expiration,
2030.
2030 plus. Yeah. So we have to deal with Main Street, and then we will have to address the other 2 pending expiration.
Trustee Brown, you can go to the Cook County Clerk TIF reports and you can get all the information right there.
Or you can just check your email that was sent out in September, and I gave a breakdown of all the TIFs and when they were existed and when the expiration date was. So you have it in your email. Any other questions? I'm asking for a motion to accept the proposal from Tesca and Associates to assist with Glenwood TIF.
I'll make that motion.
Okay, a second. Okay. We have a first and a second?
Yes.
Clerk, call the roll.
Trustee Brown,
Yes.
trustee Hadnot,
Yes.
trustee Taylor,
No,
trustee Mosley,
Yes.
trustee Roll,
Yes.
trustee Williams.
Thank you. Motion passed. Can I get a motion to approve proposal number 3034 for the National Wash Authority for the cleaning of the 4 village water towers to be paid for with TIF funds where applicable?
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Any questions?
I have one quick comment. I think those towers are supposed to be washed, but every 5 to 7. When was the last time they were washed?
The last 10, the latest one was, yeah.
Yeah. I knew that.
Any other questions or comments? First and second.
Yes.
Clerk, call the roll.
Trustee Roll,
Yes.
Trustee Taylor,
Yes.
Trustee Williams,
Aye.
Trustee Hadnot,
Yes.
Trustee Mosley,
Yes.
Trustee Brown.
Yes.
Thank you. Motion passed. I'm asking for a motion to accept TNT Maintenance Cleaning as the lowest bid for cleaning janitorial services.
I'll make that motion.
Any questions?
I have a question. I read both of the proposals, TNT and the other one. My question is on the cleaning of the field houses. And both of the proposals had 3 times a week for the cleaning of the field houses. That does not include Blakey Center, which is not a field house. If we're not using them, why are we cleaning them 3 times a week?
They are open to rentals for the community, for residents to rent. And so when they are rented, in Hickory Glen and Arquilla being the 2 more popular of the 2 to rent, we do have them cleaned on the weekends in between those events. So that if you have somebody that has an event in there on a Saturday and they don't clean up appropriately the way that they're supposed to, the people that come in on Sunday are not responsible for cleaning up for the people that hosted an event there the day prior.
And I understand that, but it says 3 times a week, and is that Friday, Saturday, Sunday, or?
I believe it's
or-
Saturday, Sunday, Monday? Friday, Sunday, Monday.
And if they're-
Friday, Sunday morning, Monday. Okay.
Okay,
So it
if-
would be that would cover, the Friday would cover any events that were held there throughout the week with the HOAs or any other groups that might use it. Sunday morning would cover cleaning from anybody that had an event there Saturday, and then Monday morning would cover anybody that had an event there on Sunday.
Okay, but if there are no events that particular week?
Are they still cleaning them? No. They are, okay. It's very rare that the field houses aren't rented on the weekends. And that's probably the way that's probably the reason that was written into the prior agreement and the prior RFP. When we put this out to bid, we used the language almost identical to the prior RFP that we put out for cleaning, so that we could get like for like proposals on what we currently have. And again, my expectation would be seeing the rental reports, especially Arquilla and Hickory Glen, they are rented most of the time on the weekends.
I was just asking the question. Because sometimes things can be done on an as-needed basis versus 3 times when it may not be used 3 times.
Yeah, I think in this instance, it would probably cost more money in the long run to did rather than having it rolled into the scope of the contract, see how most weekends it is going to still need to be cleaned the Friday, the Sunday, and
So
most
if
cases.
it gets cleaned 1 time, it's only used 1 time, but they get paid for doing it 3 times.
It was entertained twice, Friday and Monday, sure. But when it was used during the week for HOA or any. Then the additional on the weekend.
I just felt that and I needed an explanation of why it was 3 times per week when it's not used during the week. It's only used on the weekends. Occasionally, I take that back, it's used for HOA meetings, the field houses. And that's only once a month for each HOA during the week. So 3 times a week to me was a little excessive.
Any other questions?
Yes, so I hear you saying, village administrator, that if someone is renting on Saturday morning, then they come in, whomever this is, they come in and clean on Friday. Is that correct?
So they currently clean on Friday, which would clean up anything that was left behind during the week, whether
That's
there was
one
an
day.
HOA meeting or whatever it might be.
Mhm.
And then say somebody rents on Saturday,
Mhm.
the cleaning company comes in Sunday morning to clean,
That's 2 days.
and they notify us if there was a mess left behind so that we can withhold deposit money, which everybody that rents the field house is required to leave a $300 cash deposit at Village Hall. We withhold that deposit money if they don't leave the field house in a semi-clean state. That's 2. Monday morning, they clean the 3rd time, and that is to clean up for anybody that rented the house on Sunday.
I'm just, I was looking at the other proposal that had Saturday through Monday. Friday wasn't included in this. That means that even though it says 3 times, they would clean Saturday, Sunday. What would they clean Monday for?
People that rent on Sunday.
So Friday for the people that rent on Saturday. Saturday cleaning for the people that rent on Sunday. And then,
We're looking at it backwards. You're
Yeah.
looking at it going forward. I'm looking at it going backwards. So I'm looking at it.
okay,
The cleaning company is coming in to clean from the prior event. So the Friday cleaning is to clean up everything that's happened in there from Monday morning through Friday evening.
mhm,
The Sunday morning cleaning is to clean anything that took place in there on Saturday.
mhm.
The Monday morning cleaning is to clean anything that took place on Sunday.
And to Trustee Taylor's point, hypothetically, if there was a weekend, because I live on the block where the field house is on Center, that's not rented every week, just for example, okay? So now if we look at the big picture, all 3 field houses, and I'm trying to get a grasp on this, all 3 field houses are rented in a given weekend. Let's just say that, all 3. So they're cleaning all 3 for 3 days. Now, let's say the Center Street Field House is not rented that weekend at all. They don't have to clean that particular field house. And if Aquila is not rented, they don't have to clean that one either. So how are they billing from 3 field houses on the weekend, or just 1 field house that's rented?
Trustee Brown, because the field houses is open for rentals within that calendar year, it would be cheaper as opposed to trying to do as needed, because we can't predict when the Forest House is that or not. It tends to during the summer because of proms, weddings, that kind of stuff. We tend to fill up. Around the holidays, we tend to fill up. So having it where they're cleaning those 3 days, makes sense, and having that number in there as opposed to billing as needed.
How long is this contract for?
It's annual, 1 year. In order to improve the overall assessment and do that, we agreed that we would review all contracts going forward on an annual basis. So contracts will be for 1 year.
I have one more question.
Mhm.
Is there an inspection done after the cleaning?
I believe so. JR, can you speak to that?
Yeah, Public Works goes and checks out the field houses after the events and after the cleaning. So Public Works helps corroborate what the cleaners tell us after the events to let us know whether at Village Hall. So the way it works is when you come in to pay your deposit before the weekend for your event that you're holding the weekend, you come in Monday typically to get your cash deposit back. We here at Village Hall hear from Public Works and from the cleaning company whether we should be withholding any of that cash deposit from the renter because they left it in a certain state of, disrepair or uncleanliness or whatever. So yes, Public Works on the weekend, the on-call person is checking it out to make sure everything is A-okay. And then on Monday, somebody from the Public Works team is going over there to check it out as well.
So if there's an event there on Saturday, and then there's one scheduled for Sunday, the cleaning comes in on Saturday night or Sunday morning? Okay. Who inspects the cleaning before the next event on Sunday?
And normally the renter on Sunday, will let us know if there's an issue with the building. If the renter comes in before we get a chance to look at it, they will call and say, this is up, and that's, come take care of it.
Okay, so basically, Public Works inspects it on Monday mornings?
Multiple times during
And they're on call versus on Sunday, they check the different various locations. Sure, that'd be great, but in the course of Public Works, they get there before the cleaning company gets there, or it might get first. It's fluid, but we know if it wasn't clean.
Okay, is there,
From Public Works or from the resident delivery first, we would know if it's not.
okay, is there a checklist that's turned in after each cleaning? Hmm.
Well, here's my last question. How much was it last year? How much was the cost last year?
It was, it was 4,000 a month-ish, I think, unless the representative from TNT got a more
It was
accurate.
4,000
$4,000
last year.
last year, and there has not been an increase.
This says 7,500.
No, that's the new proposal.
What's the wait, last year it was 4,000. This year is 7,500. You're increasing by $3,000 or more than 3,000?
For comparison's sake, the other proposal that we received, as I mentioned, we said we received 2 proposals. The other proposal we received was almost $16,000.
But what,
And for the last 15, raise it off.
Been a raise over almost 15 years.
Yeah, one of my records is 15 years.
I'm just asking,
And I'm giving an answer.
what was it last year versus this year? Not the last 15, I wasn't even here then.
Okay.
All right, thank you.
Any other questions? Okay, let's,
Thank you.
clerk, let's put it to a vote.
Yes, let's do that.
Trustee Mosley,
Yes.
Trustee Williams,
Aye.
Trustee Taylor,
I abstain.
Trustee Brown,
No.
Trustee Roll,
Yes.
Trustee Hadnot.
Yes.
Thank you, motion passed. What's the next one? A motion to approve a 3-year agreement with Rogue Production LLC for firework display on July 3rd, 2026 through July 4th, 2028.
So move.
I'll second.
And I have a couple questions.
Questions?
So my first question,
Mhm.
didn't we sign a 3-year agreement last year? The same, maybe the amounts aren't the same, but I think we were presented with a proposal for the same thing, that if we signed for 3 years, then if it rained or if we canceled, can someone check that? Because I think we already have.
A deposit, we do.
Correct. Okay,
We do.
that's my first question.
Yes.
My second question is also, when we had those conversations and we had those meetings, it was talked about the increased costs. So I know the costs for the fireworks itself were budgeted, the budget. But then when we had these meetings with the police chief, public works director, and we started collaborating on what we would need to keep the community safe, as far as whether it was fenced or we needed extra officers, then that bill started to total over this budgeted amount, which led to us canceling or not having the fireworks. Now, I see it both ways. There were some residents that were disappointed that we didn't have a fireworks show. But the reason came down to the financial point of it, that we didn't have it because we didn't budget these extra costs. And quote me if I'm wrong, Chief, you had came up with a plan as far as for man hours, for a fence, for insurance. Do you remember what those costs were?
I don't remember what those costs are, but I know we did not, we budgeted for fencing, which we may or may not do because The year that we didn't do it, several other agencies or towns did use fencing. However, that was proved to be ineffective. So that might be able to be taken out, but definitely need additional manpower and outside security that was bonded and insured. So I don't have that exact cost with me now, but it's, going to be several $1,000s, I'm sure, for the extra manpower on the police side.
Trustee Rowe, I remember how much it was extra.
Close to $100,000.
It was about $22,000 extra. It was about 22,000. I made all the notes, and and we had about 4 different choices of security.
Right.
And we chose the security that we deemed the safest, and it was about 22,000. So then the fireworks itself was only about 30 to 40,000. And so everybody thought, not every, quote unquote, everybody was up in arms that the fireworks would be 60,000.
Right.
Remember that? Okay, but it wasn't going to be, the fireworks itself, remember, wasn't going to be 60,000. It was the added security, because that's when the teenagers start to really be rambunctious, and we wanted to keep everybody safe. So that's where the 60 came from. So now I think everything is more calmed down, or whatever the case may be. So now we're revisiting this, and we did lose, I thought we lost our deposit. It was $8,600 that we lost by canceling the fireworks. I don't think they still have it by this time, I think. It was $8,600. I remember that very specifically.
I'm not aware of us losing.
No, we didn't.
We didn't
no.
lose it?
No.
Okay, so
No,
still-
we didn't lose that. And
Great.
so, and just that too, as revisited, as Trustee Rowe mentioned, right, with the residents and requesting to have it, but also in having conversations with surrounding suburbs and being a part of the Southland Region's Black Mayor Caucus, and talking about how we can collaborate. So it is intentions that, if so desired and approved by the board, moving forward with the police departments, with the sheriff department, to be able to look at the logistic, as opposed to being frightened by the youth, but embracing, to be able to, have a safe place to be able to do fireworks as we have done in the past, safely and enjoyable. And as this is the 200th year for America, we thought that this is just another way to bring the community together to be able to do it. So I believe, don't quote me, but $7,525 and $8,600 that we had left on the table to pick it up. And so, and these funds too was budgeted. So it was previously in that budget for 40. And so as we're being cognizant of our budget and living within that time frame, that we will be able to manage that cost us around that security, with working with other municipalities and open it up where the surrounding communities, as well as those that participate in, can also enjoy the fire display.
Where are these funds going to come from? Because this was the conversation that we had last year, that it wasn't in the budget. We don't have financials. We don't know where we are. So I guess the question is, what funds are we using to pay for this?
Well, we have funds that is in the parks and seniors in there, and the difference before then and not knowing where your finances was previously. We know where the funds are, right? We know where they are and where they're not. And so as we looked at the line items and many other items where we said that you also in previous years, when you said you didn't know where the money was coming from, you had over $300,000 budgeted in miscellaneous. So as Jansen stated earlier, we are working diligently to put those pots of monies where they are. And I wouldn't have brought it before the board if we had no means of being able to pay for
I'd like to weigh in for a second. So we had a $40,000 price tag for fireworks. We have 3,000 homes in Glenwood. That's $13 per household. Okay? In perspective, the Glenwood Plaza on Halsted, we have over $24 million invested in that plaza, which is $800 per year over the last 10 years, which is $8,000. So I think we can afford $13 a household.
Yeah, I think we can too. It's just that it's just so weird because it's 1 year later when we were like, oh, we don't have any more. We all don't have any money. You can't afford to do the fireworks. And now it's 1 year later. It's like, oh yeah, we could afford to do it. So we probably always could afford to have done it.
Well, I think the difference is historically or previously not having a good accounting of reporting regarding your finance, right? Not having a good reporting of having that supervision with regards to your end of the month revenues versus your expenses, and knowing where your funds are recorded and a better tracking. So you have a better tracking system related to your finance, and you have a more improved and robust oversight of your finances. So that's the difference.
So I have a question as far as the term of the agreement. It's for 3 years.
Yes.
Is there a possibility of only doing fireworks for this year? And would the cost change?
I'm sure if we do 1 year that cost would increase.
Yeah, the benefit to doing the 3 years was
It's
that
locking
was,
it in.
first of all, it locked us in and guaranteed us to actually have them on the 4th for the following 2 years. But also, you know, they've been holding this July 3rd for us in anticipation of the board discussing this. I think if we went back to them and said, the board would like to do 1 year, the price is going to go up, I would imagine, and we won't have a guarantee that we have a reservation or a hold on the July 4th date for the following 2 years.
You want to do the $30,000 per year instead of the 40 for this year? Is that the sticking point? To everybody.
It was just a general question.
Me either.
Anybody.
Me.
I mean, why wouldn't we want to do 30,000 per year?
I'm asking you.
Of course.
Whatever you want to do, that's what I want to do.
Of course. Why would we want to do 30,000 per year? Why would we want to give away $10,000?
Okay.
That was an option to just, add in the drawing piece, right? Just regarding the 250-year celebratory piece or whatever, but it's at the board's desire. I don't have a preference one way or the other.
I'm just one person, but you.
That's all.
So would you like to make a motion that we do 30,000 a year for, is that the motion you'd like to make?
Sure, so moved.
Okay, there's a motion.
I'll make the motion to do the $30,000 fireworks show for 2026.
Through
3-year deal.
July 2020.
In the 3-year deal through 2028.
Okay, can I get a second? Okay. Clerk, call the roll.
Trustee Hadnot,
Yes.
Trustee Williams. Trustee Roll,
Yes.
Trustee Mosley,
I want the $40,000.
About the block.
Yes.
Trustee Brown,
I want the $40,000.
You're next.
It's 200. Yes, yes.
Trustee Taylor.
Yes.
Thank you, motion passed. Any new business? Old business? Open to the public?
Oh, I'm sorry.
3 minutes.
Uh-oh.
Old business, really
I'm sorry.
quick.
I'm sorry, old business.
You can stand, you don't even have to sit down. But old business, just going back to the Blakey Center, if we could just finalize the repairs over there. The residents often ask, are we gonna put additional funds there? And I know we talked about the roofing and the flooring. So if we could address the flooring.
That all of those assessments will be made, but it's a greater priority to get staffing in there to begin to have programming there on a consistent basis and hoping to generate revenues by having those in there. So there, as Trustee Williams pointed out, the majority of those repairs are right. So as they come, so when we looked at it for the budget, we looked to prioritize getting the best bang for our dollars that would benefit the community, and that would be to have a staff person in there to create programs and to begin to introduce programs that will generate revenues. And so upon that, as I indicated, that this is an interim budget that has room for improvement. So in July, we'll be revising that and hoping to have that position filled by then. Then at that point, we can revisit that.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, any other old business? Okay.
You're up.
Good evening, Mayor Hart, and to the rest of the
Good evening.
trustees
Good evening.
and clerk. Want to include everybody, okay? At any rate, in all seriousness, I wanted to go back and visit real quickly the TNT maintenance cleaning. I agree with Ms. Taylor wholeheartedly about the cleaning as well as Ms. Brown. It seems as though that you all have locked in on the fact that if a person signs a contract, they have to go with what the contract cleaner says they want. But what we want as a village, and in terms of spending the kind of monies as you indicated, when the place is not being used, and then not only that, if the person doesn't clean the facility after they get through using it, then they lose their deposits. Well, hopefully that deposit is worth enough for them to make sure that they clean it. And if they do clean it and you inspect it, then it doesn't need cleaning by the other party, which would be the indicating individual that you're using for maintenance services. With that being said, I don't know about everybody else in the audience and the rest of the residents of the community, but an on-time cleaning or when it's needed to be cleaned, then they should be able to willing to do that if they're willing to make the money, not just charge us what they want to charge and we don't see another alternative. I'm through with that, but I hope you consider that as far as, I know you voted, but to retable, so to speak, with the residents dealing with the fireworks. I don't know how many people said aye versus how many people said nay. But the fact is, last year when we addressed that issue, it was a $60,000 fee. And I remember Trustee Lynch standing up and definitely speaking against it because there was a lot of money to be spent on fireworks. Question here today, $100,000. How much is that worth to the community at large? $100,000. How much should it be used to go away within less than 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, $100,000? Think about what can be done with that money. We always talk about the youth. What can be done with that money? Ooh, it went up in smoke.
We're
Thank
not
you.
spending $100,000.
Over a 3-year period of time, you said 40, 30, and 30. That's $100,000.
Right.
per year.
So, but
That's
that's
in
over
3
3
years. I
years.
understand it. But see, once again, if you came to me for some business and said, well, I can't do it for that much, you mean to tell me that business is ready to lose $30,000 because you don't want to bargain with me? There's other people that have fireworks. I'm just looking at it from that perspective, from my end. I do a business too. And when I tell people my price, they say, no, I can't afford that. Wow. Hold your horses, buddy, because this is what I charge, right? However, when they talking about $20,000 or $25,000, all right, I'll make it some kind of concession. We'll work something out. Too much money to lose. Thank you. Yippee-yi.
Received.
All right, sir.
Good evening.
Good evening.
My name is Tyler Hall from Hall & Sons Landscaping. I was here at the last meeting. You guys said that wasn't on the agenda for regarding the bid of the grass and the abandoned houses. I want to know when will it be on the agenda to talk about?
I'm not sure, sir, when it will be back on the agenda. I am waiting for board direction.
Okay. Now, what about the abandoned houses? Right now, who is maintaining those as of now?
all of lawn services in-house until further notice.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome.
Hello, everybody.
Hello.
Hello.
Hey, Ms. Phil.
Losa Fields here to talk to you all. Y'all been yakking all night, so I can talk to. Question. Did I really hear that the police and the fire department are gonna join? No, I didn't hear that. I thought I did. Okay. I'm glad I didn't.
No.
I didn't hear that right.
You,
No.
I'm not sure.
Okay. Well, I have a question for you. I watched the people cut the grass. I watched them go away and come back and clean up the grass. You know how it falls when you cut it and you don't have a catcher. So my question to you is, where did we get the extra money from to pay one set of people to do two jobs?
There's no extra money being paid, Ms. Fields.
So they did two jobs, or you had somebody else to do it?
The same Public Works is cutting. So if they came back and Public Works is cutting, there's not.
Yeah, they were there for most of the day is my question.
Mhm.
And so they have a job already, I guess, if they work for public. And then they cut the grass. So that means two jobs. That's not two salaries?
No, ma'am.
You took one salary and worked?
They got extra work for the same salary. Mhm. Mhm.
I'm gonna buy that. I
Mhm.
hope it's not true because.
That is true. They get extra work.
Really?
Everybody now here at the village, including police, Glenwood, finance, everyone gets extra work for the same pay.
Well, okay, if you say, I don't know. They did a good job with the park. And they were out there for most of the day. So I'm trying to figure out whatever job they had, how did they get that done?
They have to figure that out.
All right, Mayor.
Okay. Mhm.
I'll talk to you after that.
Thank you.
Because you playing a game with me. You ain't telling me one person can't be in two places at once.
Good evening again. Melinda Platt, 423 West Arquilla. So I wanted to thank the village for coming out and celebrating with us last Saturday at the park. The park looked beautiful. You went out there 2 times and picked up the debris. It looked beautiful. We had visitors come from all areas. We were very busy, but I wanted to thank you for coming out, Mayor, for throwing out that first ball. I want to thank the village administrator for coming out. I want to thank the police and fire department for coming out, and for Public Works for keeping the area clean. It looked really nice, and we really appreciated the support. There's this thing called opportunity cost. It's the choice of missing a particular benefit that's not obvious and not making the right decision, and sometimes missing out on the bigger picture. So I talk about the park because we did have a lot of visitors that didn't look good, and people always say our parks look great. But I'm talking more about the cleaning of the field houses. When you have people coming out from other areas and your field house is not clean, there's opportunity costs there. The people go out and they complain and they tell everybody else, I know because I made the complaint. The village responded and made sure that the field houses will be clean in between each and every time somebody comes out. So if we don't do that, and the complaint that I heard directly and other people heard, there's an opportunity cost if you do nothing. So thank you for responding on that.
Thank you.
Hi, Tony, 423 Arquilla. I want to personally thank Mayor Hart, our team of attorneys, and JR, the village administrator, for taking us through this transitionary period. There were things on the agenda tonight that were held over from the last administration, and I know you guys have to take time before you can move forward to clean it up. what was done when you took office. So Mayor Hart, I want to thank you for continuing to make that effort and to recognize what was wrong and what needs to be corrected. So I want to thank you for that. Now, as far as the cleanup, there is no time I want to walk into a village space and find it dirty. Whether it's the field houses, concession stand, whatever. Those people on the board who live in condominium, they pay money to keep those spaces clean. And we deserve that, if nothing else, is to have a clean space. Now, when we did a transition between football to baseball, the concession stand was in horrible shape. Thank God Public Works flew over there, had it pristine the next day. However, these spaces have to be kept clean. I don't care as a citizen how much it costs. I want to see cleanliness at all times. When I walk into the field house to do the HOA meetings, I want to find the place clean. So we shouldn't be swabbling over spending so much time on small amounts of money, whereas in comparison, as Trustee Hadnot pointed out, we're dealing with millions in that plaza, and it costs a lot of money per household to try to straighten that mess out. So let's try to concentrate more on the millions instead of the 2,000 or 3,000. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Good evening, Mayor and trustees.
Good evening.
I am here as a concerned resident, taxpayer, and my concern is on April the 24th, I noticed that there was no parking signs up and down 192nd Street. And I'd like to know why. Again, we have parking for residents in the rear, but there's no space for family, friends, nurses, doctors. And we have senior people that have social workers to come out. Where are they gonna park? Up and down Champlain? Then that's gonna be another issue because the homeowners is not gonna want all these cars parked in front of their home. So I'd like to know this evening, why was those no parking signs only designated on 192nd Street in Glenwood?
They was not only designated on 192nd Street, handicap parking, as we reviewed ordinance and the additional complaints for community safety purpose and enforcing the ordinance of overnight parking on the street. Parking was enforced and enhanced throughout the village, not just on your street, related to the apartments, things that the municipality looks out for the parking as it relates to, as I stated, the community safety, and related to that parking that is more building owner, landlord conversations to be able to have related to parking. Guests and visitors are expected to find approved on-street parking.
So are you just saying that when I did my research, Mayor, I'd seen that on Willow Street, there was no parking signs. On Walnut Street, there was no parking signs. And on Hickory, on the other side of 192nd and Cottage Grove, there's no parking. So it seems to me is that it's just for 192. Now make me understand, because I'm not understanding this and I have done my research and I'd like to know why. I'm not satisfied with just putting signs up. Again, the Mother's Day is approaching and families gonna come out to visit their parents. Where are they gonna park?
Again, parking was enhanced and enforced throughout the entire village of Glenwood and not on 192nd Street. Visitors will have to find designated parking because on that particular street, the reference is no parking. And having conversations maybe with the landlord, that probably would be the most appropriate place to have that question answered regarding additional parking space.
Well, I spoke with a couple of owners, landlords, about those no parking. They wasn't aware of it. So again, it just seemed like to me, Mayor, and I don't know how you would feel about it or anyone else in the building, that if you are a resident and your parking spots for guests, nurses, friends has been deleted. No, so when you say no parking, I've taken pictures. So you got the lawn care people that's coming in doing lawn care for the homeowners, they're parking. That's no parking mean no parking. There shouldn't be two sets of rules, Mayor. It should be applied for everybody. And when I look out here and see what's going on, no, that doesn't make sense to me. Make it make sense to me, because it doesn't, Mayor. It really doesn't. And I just think that this ought to be thought over again and thought thoroughly, because we have no place. And I don't want to we don't want to invade on the homeowner's privacy of their home by having guests over or the family over. You come home and you can't park, you got a garage and a drive, but then I have family over and they're utilizing your spot. You're not going to really like that. And then it's going to be another issue that we'll have to deal with for residents. And I think we should clear this up a little bit better, So I need to let people know in the area that you're saying that the landlord has to have something to say about it, which they wasn't.
Excuse me. I'm sorry, ma'am. Your time is up.
Yes.
What was your name?
I'm Miss
Okay.
Jerry Woods.
And thank you for
Thank
bringing
you.
your,
Thank you,
bringing your
everybody.
concerns. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Sabrina Thomas, and I am the representative administrator for TNT Maintenance Cleaning Company. On behalf of the owner, Glennis Thomas, who unfortunately couldn't attend due to an emergency, I decided to step in so that I can be here because of the bid that was happening today. So I want to just give a feedback. TNT has been in business over 20 years. They have been cleaning the village for over almost 15 years and do a really great job. They get a lot of feedback that when people come in, it's clean. I wanted to speak about the increase. Okay. We all know the price has gone up for gas, living, materials. That price also includes them waxing the floors, cleaning the carpet, stripping the floors so that the floors are shining, so that the carpet is clean. They clean the Blakely, they were cleaning it 5 days a week. They clean it 6 days a week. With the Blakely, there are a lot of events that go on throughout the week. There are people playing chess. We have the senior building. We have a lot of different events that happen. The 6th day was added due to events happening over the weekend. They want to make sure that the next people that come in, if it's not exactly how it should be, they want to make sure it's good for the next party that's going to come in. So I wanted to speak on that. I also want to speak on the fact that they clean the police station 7 days a week. So there are a lot of things going on with this cleaning business so that everyone that comes into a clean space and not having to complain about things being out of place. So I wanted to speak on that. The other thing I wanted to speak on is they also clean the field houses. They clean the field houses Monday, Friday, and Sunday morning. So there's a lot happening with a cleaning business. They're doing it to where they're gonna make it feel like a home. They're not gonna want people to come in to say, oh, there's trash everywhere, this is not shining. They put forth their effort every time they are cleaning. So I wanna let you know they're a trustworthy, honest company, and they enjoy working for the village of Glenwood. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Lovey, and I want to talk about abuse. And like the lady last week got up here and had a lot of time to talk about abuse. I want to talk about abuse. I'm not thinking you guys. I'm not thinking nobody. I don't think you're doing your job. I do not think you are doing your job. First of all, she's right. No, our community is not together enough to have fireworks that we can't see the next day. It's not. Our community is not together enough to pay $21,000 for locks. We had locks all these years, and we didn't pay $21,000 for them. You make us feel like sharecroppers. You make decisions for us. We pay the taxes, you make the decisions. We are due to respect. We are due respect to make some decisions for ourselves. We all sit here and we on a plantation. That's how I feel. Nobody make decisions but you guys. Some of you live here and some of you don't. And it's not fair. I don't thank you because I've been hurt by you personally, okay? Now, you're spending this money, throwing our money away. We need inspectors. We need dog catchers. We need cat catchers. I'm so glad you didn't catch me Friday when my granddaughter was being giving her sent off to the prom. I'm so glad you didn't catch me, because you think I'm not nice now. I really wasn't nice then. My daughter decided to give her business here in Glenwood, to help Glenwood. So she had her sent away party at Mimi's, okay? Helping our community. My granddaughter, they had got a Mercedes to take them to the prom. They were outside, beautiful. Some people here was here, beautiful thing, a beautiful send off. But guess who came and showed up? 2 pit bulls, okay? 2 pit bulls showed up at my granddaughter's affair, okay? Not only did they show up, they jumped up in the car with them, salivating on the seats and the windows, with my granddaughter in the back seat with her date, okay? So I'm not feeling all this, thank you, Mr. Spock. I'm not feeling all of that, okay? So they could have been really hurt. People ran in, some people wasn't afraid. The police were there, you know I'm not lying. Some people wasn't afraid, you know, but some was very afraid. It could have been deadly, okay? That's not the first time things could have been deadly in my life, okay? From people not doing their job. You talk about the public works cutting the grass. They can cut the grass because my street is dirty.
They're not doing 2 jobs. They can cut the grass because the residents pick up the paper most of the time. You know what? I work in Tinley Park for almost 30 years. Tinley Park get dirty just like Glenwood get dirty. But you know what happened in Tinley Park? That dirt and those papers don't be on those streets till 10 o'clock in the morning because their public works come and pick them up. Okay? I know good work when I see it. I ain't 27 for nothing. Okay? I've been around for a while. I'm angry. And I'm tell, because a lot of you all don't know why I'm so angry. Not only the dogs done got me, but the cats done got me. They got on my furniture, nice furniture. You know, Mayor, everybody think their yard is nice. Nice furniture. They peed on my furniture. They got hair on my furniture. That wasn't good enough. On my deck, I goes out one morning, guys, and they were on my deck. I didn't notice them. I'm walking on my deck, and I step, and I'm afraid of cats, and I'm also allergic to them. I step, and there the cats were, a black thing was there, which I thought it was a rat, which really scared me. So I jumped back, and I stumble, and I fall, and I'm screaming. And my daughter happened to be at my house, and she got my husband. And I hit my head, and I hit my shoulders. And my husband came, and he helped me, and I'm screaming and crying because my wrist was hurting me. And so I'm crying because I had talked to Mr. Fields about, and talked to the other administration about all these cats and animals, animals, but nobody follow ordinance here. They don't have to. They don't have to, because nobody doing their job. So I
Mrs. Mallard.
failed. Don't tell me about the 3 minutes. Check. So I failed, and I was so hurt. I called Mr. Fields because I was very hurt. And I said, Mr. Fields, the cats done took over my house. I said, I'm hurt. So Mr. Fields said, call the police. So I called the police. A lady police officer came out. She was so kind. We do have some kind people in this village. And she was real nice. And I'm crying and hurt. And Mr. Fields coming seeing me in my gown. And so I said to another officer came, another male officer, and he wasn't so nice. He told me, because I was telling him, I said, we don't talk to them so many times about these animals taking over the Glenwood. And he said, you're being political. That's what he told me. I was being political. He saw a sign in my yard, so he called it political. But it wasn't political. It was the truth. It was the facts. I'm here crying because I'm in pain, okay? I sat at the doctor emergency room all day. That day, Camille, my grandson was playing his last college game because he was graduating. And I was supposed to be going to Wisconsin to see him before he go overseas to play pro ball, okay? I went that night in pain, but guess what? I slept because I was on pain pills. This is what Glenwood did for me, okay? Nobody is addressing our problems here in Glenwood. And I'm not gonna sit here and try to be nice about it, because nobody had my pain. Nobody paid my deductibles. Nobody paid that emergency room. Nobody paid that physical therapy. Anybody else want to give me their 3 minutes?
Okay.
Nobody
No.
did that for me. Nobody, okay? So I've been hurt more than once by the village of Glenwood. Glenwood need to do its job. I'm sick of hearing about the county. This is the county. I've been here 45 years and I ain't never heard it but the last administration pull it on us every day. This is the county. He shouldn't have got the job. He shouldn't have took the job if he couldn't deal with the county. It was looking decent in Glenwood for 45 years. Almost, to about 10 years ago. Okay? Don't tell me about the county.
Ms. Maddox, thank you. I hear your concern.
I know you do, Mayor.
Okay.
Because I'm not
The
finished.
next-
Somebody else
Ms.
gave me their minutes, and I'm not finished. I'm not finished because not only is Glenwood nasty, but Glenwood smell. Okay? We have people vomiting and having headaches because of somebody not doing their job. Somebody here is not, I'm gonna sit down in a minute, but I'm angry. Somebody ruined your granddaughter's afternoon, and you would be angry too. If you laid down at night and had pain because animals are taking over your community, you would be, nobody felt that pain. Nobody paid Alpha to pay my bills. I pay the cost to get up here and talk because not only do I help my neighbors, I help my community. I went up there and I did my best in that community up there on Dante. Ask anybody that live around Brookwood Point. Me and a few more, we were seniors. Public health told us that they would help us. But you know what? They didn't. I was stuck with all these plants that I was given to the community. Didn't ask for a penny for them. Residents coming saying, thank you. You know, we appreciate you all. My neighbor back there, she helping me. We digging. Seniors out there digging. Do you think somebody in the administration thanked us? No. Criticize us. I got stung by 8 bees up there and went to the emergency room once again. Then the other guy who was helping, he was a senior. He hurt himself. And my neighbor back there who, oh Lord, I thank her, because I would have been stuck with those. I would have had to throw all those plants in the garbage. But she came up and she helped for weeks, okay? And we—
You actually have 43 seconds to,
okay,
to finish for the second.
I will. I know. But you all take all that time. I pay taxes too. Y'all take all that time. All that time, you gave me a headache. You took so much time. But anyway, as I was saying before, I did my best. They did their best. And guess what thanks we got for it? We got criticized. And then the public work was sent up there. And guess what they did? The work we had did, they didn't ask us, well, what do you see? What vision do you see? What do you want done? Can we help you in any kind of way? That's why I say it's more like we are farmers on a plantation. They didn't say all that work you done did, all these weeks you done did the work. I want to help you out. So come on, who pots are these? Who plants are these? Where should I put them? No, they took them, they put them where they wanted them to be. They took them and put them where they wanted them to be. And they did what they want. So how can I feel I'm a taxpayer? How can I? Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thanks.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
My name is Mariah Smith. I did have a few questions about the budget. So we talked about a lot of money that will be going out tonight, and I just wanted to know if it already is. Where is that reflected in the upcoming budget? That's my first question, because I have multiple.
The question is?
So like, for example, like the fireworks, like where is that included in the upcoming budget for 2026 and 27?
Parks and seniors in parks. Seniors in parks. One budget item.
Okay, thank you. And then my next question is, with the survey that was taken for the suggestions for the budget, I saw that it was a few people that were participating and they gave great insight. I was wondering, where would those considerations be placed into the budget? Is there going to be a meeting to decide like those considerations or anything like that?
Regarding to the finance survey, the infrastructure, it was placed in, you can see it in infrastructure.
On the budget? Infrastructure is—
Right, infrastructure, well, that would go like in public works, it would go to police and fire. It would go into administration.
Okay, I see what you're saying. Okay, so my last question is, will the updated budget that will like list out different things, will that be shared before voting on 5/19? Or did you say that that was gonna happen in July? I was kind of like confused about that.
The final budget will be presented to the board on May 19 for approval. And it takes into, all the questions, that was in the discussion that took place this evening.
Okay, so when will the conversation happen as to where like the funds will be allocated to?
That conversation took place previous. It also took place this evening during the committee of the whole meeting. During the finance committee meeting. The budget has been an ongoing process for the last 6 months or so. Yeah,
Okay.
it's been an ongoing process.
Okay, and where will we be able to find that information? I know I was here for the committee of the whole meeting, but I'm saying like the breakdown, what I'm asking like of the different things that were taken in the survey, when will that be like decided for allocation?
It was already decided with the finance committee recommendations and incorporated budget. Certainly once the budget and shoring up those numbers, then it is placed on the counter for public viewing if you're referencing the line items that's within there. Yeah.
And you said that's located where? I'm sorry.
That it will be located on the front counter. It also will be placed on our website
Okay, and I'm sorry, when is that?
upon approval of the budget.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Good evening, Deborah Birmingham.
Good evening.
Representation matters. I was pleased to receive the new Glenwood Gazette. It was nice to see the spring design, the use of the pretty colors, everything, and the efforts to share community stories. However, I must also express my disappointment. In the article highlighting the beautification committee, the accompanying image did not reflect any of the actual members of the committee. While it may have been a stock photo, that choice is unacceptable, particularly when recognizing the work of individuals like Leon Fields and others who are actively serving our community. A reader unfamiliar with the committee could easily assume the individuals pictured were those being honored. Surely there were opportunities to obtain authentic pictures from Mr. Fields or others involved. Our community deserves accurate, respectful representation. Additionally, representation matters. When it comes to acknowledging the people behind the work, the events committee members were not properly represented in the Black History Month coverage. Despite their contributions, they were omitted. Similarly, the events committee was not mentioned in the Easter egg hunt coverage. The HOA presidents, chairs of the beautification committee, and committees as a whole dedicate time and effort at every meeting. These individuals volunteer their time to help build a better community. While they are not seeking photo opportunities, recognition and appreciation should be given to those who labor tirelessly to represent the very best of Glenwood. I raised this concern in November during the launch of the new village website, Representation Matters. Yet the website still does not fully reflect the diversity of our community, a community that is over 70% African American. Other communities would not accept representation that does not reflect their community makeup. As elected officials, you should not have accepted it either. You should have insisted on proper representation. It is unacceptable that lack of representation, both in the Gazette and online, remains concerning and must be addressed. Elected officials are entrusted to represent their constituents, not just in words, but in action and in the visibility. Representation matters. Just as sports teams review new footage to evaluate performance and improve, our elected leaders should revisit recorded meetings and public engagements. Reflect on how decisions are made, how communication is delivered, and how well the community is being represented. Representation matters. Progressive organizations and progressive village boards understand this. They are prepared. They value proper procedure, including the use of Robert Rules of Order. They take the time to understand ordinances and policies. Most importantly, they prioritize building relationships within the community. Representation matters. Strong committees do not form in isolation. They are built through trust and engagement. There is no reason some of our village committees should remain inactive. A practical starting point would be reconnecting with those who supported your candidacy, the very residents who signed your petitions and believed in your leadership. These individuals represent a ready foundation for community involvement and community participation. Representation is more than appearances. It is more than photo opportunities. It's about presence, partnership, and meaningful work within the community. Some may say that balancing a full-time job with public service is challenging. That may be true. However, that responsibility was understood when the decision was made to run for office. Representation matters. If we are serious about moving Glenwood forward, our elected officials must fully embrace what it means to represent the people. This includes how our community is portrayed in publications, on digital platforms, and in everyday interactions. It includes how we communicate, collaborate, and develop a shared vision for the future. Glenwood has long been known as a place to live, work, and play. Representation matters in each of those areas, because it reflects the people who call this village home. As we move forward, let us do so with intention as our representation, as our representatives. It matters what you think, what you say, and how you act to move this village ahead. Representation matters. And with my last few moments, because last week the lady had 10 minutes, and with 3 more that you all gave, that was 13 minutes. So with my last few seconds, in terms of the overnight parking, how does that work? Because I hear people say overnight, contact the village hall. Is the village hall open 24 hours? Is the police department open 24 hours? How will they get a sticker? How will they know if you have people coming in later in the evening? That is something that can be addressed. Thank you.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Barbara Elmore, 505 Dorchester. I just wanted to piggyback on what Sister Maddox was saying, Mayor and trustees, because it's a very serious issue. About 2 years ago, I was literally attacked by pit bulls. I was walking to one of the vacant lots that we cut, and I was actually talking to the resident who lived in the house where the dog attacked me. It's no small thing, and it's something that you all really need to address. I know some years ago, Adam Winston tried to get an ordinance passed. Any dog that's, over 25 pounds should be on the leash. Well, I'm living witness that that needs to happen quickly before some child gets hurt, before some adult gets hurt and lose their lives. Now, what happened to me was not a small thing. It was very serious. I did have to go to the hospital. I had the 2 gashes and the 2 scars on my leg to show what happened to me. It was not nice at all. Now, I did have concerns before that happened. You can only imagine after that, I was almost terrified to go to a vacant lot and take a look and see what we have to do, because I don't even walk the park anymore. I won't walk and get exercise very easily because of what happened to me. It was very traumatic. One time we was cutting the railroad track, and this great big dog come running across. He ended up to be friendly. He didn't have to be. Could have been a bad situation. So before a child gets attacked and before an adult gets hurt, or any of us, because if it's a problem for one of us, it's a problem for all of us. It really, really true is. So I implore you all to please pass that ordinance quick. I should have come at that time, but I didn't for whatever reason. It took me a long time to heal. I'm sorry that happened. I'm sure that was not anything fun. You know, as I was thinking about, when I was sitting back there thinking about even Miss Birmingham's situation, I wish if I lived next to somebody's whose trees was grown over on my property, or they were feeding the raccoons, and I had to deal with that coming out of my house. That would not make me happy, and I'm sure it wouldn't make you all happy either. I say that to say, if it's one person's problem, it's all of our problems, because if it's happening to them, it could happen to us. We're all in this together. Let's do something about that dog situation and anything else that we have concerns about, okay? Thank you so much. God bless.
Mayor, didn't we do something about the dangerous dog ordinance? We did that, right? When my sister and her dog got mauled, she went to Brookwood Point Homeowners Association, and we've done something about that. We have amended the ordinance for the dangerous dogs, so you may have missed that part. And I'm sorry that that happened to you and everybody else. Oh, yeah, I understand.
So they're still out there. We need to do something about that before somebody's child is attacked. The people's dogs should just be running around loose. They're dangerous.
Okay.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon.
Robert Maddox, 928 East 193rd Place. What my wife failed to mention to you also is that those two dogs scratched up that Mercedes. They jumped on it and scratched it up. So now it's got to be repaired. And also, she didn't tell you when she was telling you about the cat that got on our deck, she broke her arm in 3 places when she fell. She didn't get a chance to tell you that. But these are just some of the things, and I'm sure somebody probably got another story to tell like that, similar. And I'd like to know, do we have a part-time animal control officer? Or is it full-time?
Part-time.
Okay, maybe we should consider getting a full-time, because I haven't seen her, and this is 2 incidents personally for me. And that doesn't count. And another instance, last week I walk out of my front door, here's a German Shepherd running down the street, down the sidewalk. I mean, these things are getting out of control. We need to get something done. And I got cats walking around my backyard, full grown. And I'm doing everything I can to repel them. But if they keep coming around, I'm gonna have to seek other measures. Yeah. And the other thing I wanted to talk about was nuisance ordinance. I sent some pictures to you guys. I don't know if you got them, all the trustees and JR. Yeah, I got that one. You only got one picture? Because I sent like 6. Wow. Okay, one of them was a small video. I'm technologically challenged, okay, but I sent a small video. I tried to keep it like 5 seconds, but undoubtedly it doesn't work when you send it to somebody, they can't open it. But don't worry. I'm gonna send you some photos, specifically like right out here, 1 block away. When you get to the gun shop and those 2 businesses on either side, the grass is up halfway at my knee, which I'm kind of short.
What's up there?
The,
Oh, you said what's up to your knee?
the grass
Oh.
and the dandelions. And I know I'm kind of short, but I still think that's kind of high. That's what people come from Indiana and all the different places they drive by, see that. This old Speedway gas station at Glenwood there and Dante. I mean, it's just ridiculous. What is going on? Why? I mean, they have an ordinance for that. And I kind of looked up the ordinance. And it says section 110-34. The village can go on there and cut that property and charge the owner. And I'm not going to read it because it's 3 or 4 pages long. It'd take up all my 3 minutes. But I mean, you get the general idea.
We are working.
Okay, and I would like to see us get another inspector, because I think the inspector's job would pay for itself. If he did his job, another inspector. Okay? Because we're not getting anything done. I mean, I have a certain inspector that I kind of admire. He drives up and down my block, and I see him drive down Minerva, and I can count 9 violations that he drives right by. What's that all about? And I'm not an inspector. So I'm sure if he were to kind of look, I even directed the inspector to where to go. I'm not gonna hold back. I don't care if anybody get mad at me. I mean, I told them where to go about 3 weeks ago, exactly where to go. I just said, drive to this point and just look left and right. That's all you gotta do. And nothing's been done. So they can't tell me they're doing their job. And I wanted to know the smell, the manure smell from the farm. I know they say that's the county, but a little participation from the administration, like calling, putting a bug in the county's ear.
They're coming to the HOA meeting tomorrow.
Well, yeah, but okay, I know that, I'll be there, but that's not helping me now because for the last night, it was unbearable. Do you ever smell it at your house?
I smell it when I get off.
Well, if you smell it at your house, our house is directly in line with that manure thing. So if you smell it at your house just a little bit, I'm getting it probably 3 times more, and all my neighbors. And people act as if, people come by and they say, I can't, people come by and it stinks. I can't plan anything. I can't invite my family members over and have a barbecue out in my backyard and they sit down and try to eat and they start gagging because of the smell. I've heard of organic farming, but that's something real organic about that. And it's serious. Okay, one other thing. I noticed that we start getting into that thing now where you guys, the trustees, and I don't know, correct me if I'm wrong. You start getting these packets at the last minute and you're gonna make a decision in 2 days about something that costs maybe thousands of dollars. Why is it that you have to get your packets that you have to make a decision about in 2 days? You should have at least a week, in my opinion. I don't know how government works, but I think you ought to have at least a week to 4 or 5 days, something to think about things, read about it, research it before you make a decision. Am I right that you guys getting your packets sometimes 2 or 3 days before a meeting? Okay, well, anyway, just a thought. And I thank you for your time. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Any other public comments?
If I could just make one comment.
Mhm.
One of the things for me, and this is my plea to the public, at the very beginning of the meeting, it is open to the public for agenda items. No one comes up. That's how we hear your input. That's how we hear what you're thinking about what we're going to talk about before we vote. So I'm just asking if maybe we not wait to the end. I want to hear from you before, because you get that time slot on the agenda.
We're told that we can't talk about this stuff because we only talk about new business. We have to wait to the end of the meeting to talk about open business.
Right, it's whatever's on the agenda. For tonight, you can, but I would love to hear from you.
Agenda items.
Package online, package online. Package on the village website. You can see the same packet that we get, the exact same packet. All the information is there. And you can always call. But call me if you got a question. Sure. You call me, call anybody on this board.
Absolutely. But yeah, I would
Including
love
the
to
mayor.
hear your input and what you're thinking before we do have the discussion and the vote.
Okay.
As far as it goes for the parking, as Ms. Wood spoke about earlier in front of, on 192nd Street, how do you determine, because on that street, it says no parking at any time, whereas on Champlain, it does tell you, well, no parking overnight, or no parking after 2 inches of more of snow. So how do you determine which street is no parking at any time versus no parking overnight or no parking after a certain amount of snow?
I would think the signage up there would differentiate if you can park at no times or what the particular time frames is based on the signage in that particular area.
So on 192nd Street, it's 3 or 4 residential buildings. So the signs came up that says no parking at any time. So it doesn't necessarily say, well, no parking overnight. I think at the closer to Cottage, there is a sign that says no parking overnight if you don't have a Glenwood sticker. But in front of our buildings, it just says no parking at any time.
Yes,
So
that means no parking at any time.
yeah, so that's how do you determine in front of residential buildings if there's no parking at any time versus there's no parking overnight?
Thank you for that question. Mhm.
You know, I just want to say something. We don't usually say anything, if you notice. When you all come up to the podium, we don't really say anything. And the reason why this is unusual for us to even be talking right now, because we've been told that it's public comments.
Correct.
It's not Q&A. Sometimes I sit here, for those that know me or know me kinda well, I want to respond to you. I want to give some kind of empathy to you. I even want to ask you some questions sometimes, but we're told not to. I remember sitting there and wondering the same thing. Why don't they answer? Why don't they say something? How do they just sit there and we say all of this and they don't say anything? Now I'm on this side and I'm telling you the reason why. We can't, supposedly. Robert's rule even, we're not really supposed to. So let me just say that. Last but not least, there's something called the Open Meetings Act. Three of us cannot talk together about any issue. We cannot, because that violates the Open Meetings Act. I can call Trustee Camille and I can call Trustee Mosley separately. We can't meet together. We can't go to lunch, the 3 of us and your 4 of us, just talk about village business. We can't, because it violates the Open Meetings Act.
But we can go to lunch, though. We just shop.
But we can't talk, we can't get together and decide what policy we're gonna vote for. We can't do that.
Come on.
You guys listen, yes, you do. But that doesn't stop you from coming back at the next meeting and answer my question.
That part.
You come there and make a comment on our question. Answer me at the next meeting. Call me, write me, email me.
And,
We come up there and we make our comments.
and Mr. Matt, well, we do try that anytime a resident brings a question and concern, to make sure at the next meeting that we address that. So that we do. When you bring a question or concern, I, would like to give credit to this board that we try, to be very responsive. There's always room for improvement in communication, but I do believe that we have been very responsive. Mhm. Well, we do have that. Subsequently, we did come back and we did have approval for contractual inspectors. And again, there's a lot of work to be done, and we just ask for your patience that we can't do it all overnight. So it is going to take time. Yeah, yeah, yes. Okay. Thank you for that. Oh, okay. Okay, yes. Can I get a motion to adjourn?
Second.
Okay, clerk, call the roll.
Trustee Hadnot. Trustee Rowe. Trustee Taylor.
Yes.
Trustee Williams. Trustee Brown.
Yes.
Trustee Mosley.
Thank you all for coming out. Have a good evening.